Malaysian Paranormal Research.
Hi, I'm Arvind John from Malaysian Paranormal Research. Today I'm going to do a short review and to give a little information regarding the infamous K2 EMF meter. As a paranormal investigator, we tend to use all sorts of different kinds of electromagnetic field detectors, also known as EMF. Although the theory suggests that spirits do give out sort of manipulate this EMF which is in the environment, whether if it's a natural magnetic field source or if it's an artificial man-made electromagnetic source, it's still a mystery. Although at times we do detect anomalies that are actually being detected by these kind of devices, it's still interesting to investigate further on to clarify all these things that we get through this kind of equipment. So very well, let me start off with this device. What I'm holding in my hand right now is a K2 meter. It's developed by a K2 company which is in US, and currently St. Augustine, who have this ghost shop in St. Augustine, Florida, carries this equipment as well. You could get it for about $60. And one of the things about this meter is that the false positive is extremely high. Alright, what I mean by that is, this is not just an EMF detector. It also detects RF, which means radio frequency. So if you have a walkie-talkie or a handphone on around you, this meter is going to go off crazy. It's going to spike. So it's important when you do your investigation, you got to make sure, study your environment first. Know what is in your environment. Like for example, if you're in a house conducting investigation, it's your job to make sure, get a baseline reading of EMF of all the handphone, any signal transmission devices, and make sure there's no radio frequency disturbance. Your walkie-talkies, you gotta off it during this K2 meter session. You also want to make sure every single electronic devices in your house are all offed, so you don't get false positive. And it's also possible that this little device can even detect radio waves as far as let's say about 200-300 feet as well. If you have a cell phone tower that is projecting the RF frequency, this thing guaranteed is going to detect that as well. So you have to make sure there's no outside sources that's affecting this. I know it's a bit difficult, but of course if there's an outside source that is affecting this, it could be easily traced by looking at this device, that a light will be stagnant at one point and it will not go up and down, up and down. Alright, so that's one of the patterns you have to realize. But of course for walkie-talkies it's different. The light will go up to 3, up to 5 flares and come down again in a pattern zigzag. So you gotta make sure, experiment with this device before you come to any conclusion that it's paranormal. Secondly, when using this device, there are some of these older K2 units which is not reliable. You have to push this switch, so your hand might kind of loose and you might accidentally press it and the light might go up like this. So it's important that you insert a coin or something, but the new and latest models doesn't have that. They already have a built-in switch, like you see. You just press this once and there you go, it's on. So you don't have to keep holding this or whatsoever, or do your own switch mod or anything. It's already good enough, so you don't have to worry about that switch problem. So what we try to use this device is to try to ask questions to the spirit, and hopefully that they're able to use this as a communication device. What we usually do in our investigation is we will place this device on the floor and we would ask for the entities, if there's anyone around, could you please spike it for us, make this device light up. And when the minute it starts lighting up, we begin asking questions like, alright, we'll make like things like a 5 lights for yes or maybe 3 lights for no. So when we ask questions like, are you a female? 5 lights for yes, 3 lights for no. So when we get a response according to the light, so we take that as a response. So therefore these questions, Q&A session just goes on until we feel that it's time to move on to the second spot, to a different location. So this K2 session just goes on. Sometimes I find this is a quite interesting communication tool, although that sometimes they couldn't explain how actually the spirits are able to manipulate this, but they surely do able to manipulate devices like this. But the biggest concern that this actually doesn't detect natural EMF sources, it's just man-made magnetic field sources, according to some people they say. But any EMF detector is able to actually detect even a little bit of this natural magnetic field. You see, if you bring a magnet close enough to this, it will still detect. Just watch. See, let me on first. See, this is the magnet. You see what happens when you bring close enough? You see this? It's just a magnet. So it does actually detect natural magnetic field. So therefore it's possible. This device to be used as a spirit communication tool. And once again, I'm reminding you, if you're planning to use this device in your investigation, make sure you study your environment, which is very important, or else you'll be getting a lot of false positive. Have a Q&A session, and make sure each response you get correlates with the number of lights that you ask the spirit or the entity to do so. And of course, if it's great, you can have videotaped it for a backup of your evidence, as for your personal investigation and sharing for this as well. So there you go, the K2 EMF meter, the one that we often see in television, famous by ghost hunters and all of them. There you go. I hope you find this information a piece that will give you important for your investigation, and it's also helpful as well. So all the best to your investigation, and keep getting hits.
Innovation Paranormal Research.